my
Rogan
favorite
experience.
my favorite brilliant thinker on the subject of what people look for in a president. Joe Rogan is back.
There's some weird thing about.
And the only reason why I'm watching this is because he's with Neal Brennan, and I love Neal Brennan. I think Neal Brennan is like, you know, a complex individual, but I do love him. I think he's a very funny guy. Let's take a look at what he has to say.
They gravitate towards a big leader, but towards someone who claims they have the answers and seems very confident and can speak reasonably well. There's almost like a cheat code where people just like they get locked into that.
It feels like order. It just feels like order. If somebody says, I know, and they're tall, first of all, if they're tall, that gets you like 60% of the way there.
That helps.
If they're tall and says, I know what we should do, huh?
Good looking.
Charismatic, good looking, fit, attractive to women, like it just makes you feel like a daddy's here. Some daddy's here, a different daddy. It's like, oh, all right, that's what people like about Trump. That's what people like about Obama. Most presidents are some form of that.
Yeah.
What, Reagan?
Yeah.
Certainly two-termers. George W. Bush in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like a sort of George W. Bush, guy walked like he had a fucking 2-foot cock. Guy walked like he had to leave room for 2 dicks. That's how wide his gait was. And he said he used to practice it.
He practiced his
George W.
gait?
Bush used to practice his gait.
Really?
You look it up. Yeah. He would talk about it in interviews. Like
Can you imagine walking around your house practicing your impressive walk?
Yeah. Well, can you imagine anyone more than him doing it? It's like the exact guy that would do that. Like, I'm going to practice walk. Yeah.
Bush's renewed confidence. This is 2005. Some folks look at me and see a certain swagger, which in Texas is called walking. That's how President Bush described himself during his acceptance speech at last year's Republican National Convention in New York City. But for much of this year, the president seemed to have lost the. Okay. It's just.
Yeah, but I've seen other interviews where he talked about.
I love Joe Rogan being like, we got to get to the bottom of this. Let's fact check this. You know what I mean? This is the one time Joe Rogan is like, let's Google this. George W. Bush's cock? Let's Google it. I'm doing my own research.
About actually practicing his walk.
Yeah.
Well, they're originally from Maine. You know, they're like kind of fake Texans.
Come on, Joe.
Yeah, they were from
No,
Kennebunkport.
I know. They're like, they couldn't be more blue blood.
Yeah.
His dad, George Bush Sr. was head of the CIA.
Yeah.
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 Which is weird now. I wonder if that would help him now, politically. I was the head of the CIA.
Didn't hurt him then.
Didn't hurt him, but only one term.
Yeah, but that was because of, what's his face?
Perot, yeah.
Yeah, Ross Perot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's going on.
Fucking guy's great.
That guy, he fucking threw the whole thing.
Like it or not, agree with it or not, this is how the average American thinks about this shit, okay? Like, low-key. Maybe not so heavy on the cock stuff, but like, yeah, George W. Bush is a guy you could have a beer with, okay? That was straight up like a big motivator, man. It was. GW wasn't the annoying guy who's like the bicoastal lib elitist or whatever that was constantly telling you the fucking world's going to end. He was a guy who's like, yeah, that's right. Now watch this drive. I got good vibes.
Out the window. Like when he bought television time, like primetime television time, he was like, I'll just buy the whole hour. And gave the networks money so that he could run his speech and talk about how you're getting fucked by the IRS. People at home were like, what the fuck? It literally was like one of the very first internet speeches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He made himself go viral, and he appealed to people that were not. There's like a whole part of the country that's not spoken to by, I mean, mass media. You can call it liberal media. I think there's like a level that people just don't want to talk to them. It's like people that aren't especially rich or sophisticated or any of the stuff that people think is great and that advertisers want to appeal to. And then Ross Perot was like, look here.
Yeah.
And it's like a beacon for people. It's like a siren song when people are like, what? What's that? This guy. And that, by the way, a billionaire. And it's not.
George W. Bush doesn't drink? What do you mean? He literally was. George W. Bush doesn't drink? Are you fucking joking, dude? What? Are you telling me Mr. DUI himself doesn't drink, dude? Dog. He has a DUI charge, brother. What the fuck are you talking about? That was for cocaine? No, he was arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. Wasn't he literally known as forever how much he could drink? Yeah, bro. I mean, dude, that's just how it works though, dude. Come on.
Not about, people think it's about, he didn't seem like a billionaire. That was his, like, that's Trump's appeal too. Like, he doesn't seem like a rich guy.
Seems like a regular guy.
That's funny. Like, Dr. Oz lost.
How?
Cause he seemed like a liberal.
Joe Rogan openly showcasing that he is so lost in the motherfucking Republican sauce. He's like, how did Dr. Oz lose? Bro, come on, man. Get back to the fucking real world, dude. Your fucking brain is so melted from living in Texas. What the fuck? I feel like you go inside of Texan borders and all of a sudden some crazy shit happens. Your brain melts, dude.
Fetterman seemed like a conservative.
Listen, I gotta fucking...
Because I think so much
I'll be back in a
of it is
second.
just
I gotta warm up my chicken.
You can speak to this yourself. People are against you because you're fit. There are people that are like, fucking meathead. I'm like, he's not a meathead. Fucking yeah, he is. It's because people wouldn't believe that you and I are friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like when a turtle hangs out with a fucking python. And the turtle's just riding the top of a python. People go like, how are they? It's like we're unexpected animal friends. So I just think it's so much of it is looks. So much. It's
a lot of it is, right?
Way more than people would admit.
Anybody that saw the Fetterman debate would go, oh, this guy needs help.
Couldn't watch. I literally couldn't watch it. I knew like that's gonna. It feels cruel or something.
Yeah, it is cruel. It's cruel to put a guy in a position like that who's recovering from a stroke. You're not supposed to be under that kind of stress.
We learned a lot of good stuff, I think, from this Neal Brennan conversation. Presidents need to have a fat cock, and George W. Bush certainly had it. Or even if he didn't have it, he had the swagger of a man who had it.